Peace, family. What's going on, man? We are back with another installment of Unfiltered Faith. I am Mekhi Hill, the founder of the Better Days Project, as well as the host of Unfiltered Faith, man. And I'm just excited to be here. I'm feeling empowered, man, because we got some youth on this episode. They're on the other side of Gen Z, a little bit younger, but I feel like that was the energy that we really needed to balance things out. These young brothers are really moving and shaking. They're pioneers in their industry, in their era, man, and just the things that they're doing. And I'm inspired by their work, man. When I found out some of the things that they were doing, I couldn't help but just reach out, extend my hand to them and, just be a resource however I can. And, we got the founders of B3 here, Business Behind the Ball, man, and they are empowering communities through sports, right? Because oftentimes we see people that put their life and they give their all into sports. And sometimes it doesn't really give anything back in return, or people don't know how they can stay involved in sports after high school is over with. So this is what we're going to talk about a little bit, right? Mental health of athletes, identity, faith, and just business behind the ball. So without further ado, man, I'll pass it over to you all. If you could just please introduce yourself individually, let the people know where you're from, what school you go to, and we'll just start from there.
All right, what's good, y'all? My name is Brysoncherry. I'm going to be a sophomore this year at North Carolina A&T. And yeah, of course, this is important to me. I was always an athlete myself, played basketball, football in high school, and I kind of boiled into this, but we'll talk about B3 in a little bit. I'll let y'all go.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Carson Bethea. I'm a sophomore psychology major from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I attend Morehouse College.
What's up, y'all? I'm Rakiboyer. I'm a rising freshman at Howard University, and I'm a business management with a sports management minor, and I'm from Philadelphia as well.
Love. We all from the East Coast. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So what is B3, and how did Business Behind the Ball come to be? Give us a little bit about that the background story and how you guys established this.
So I guess I'll start off because for me, playing ball in high school, like you always some people don't, right? Some people do go to the league, or some people get the opportunity, but like sometimes you're gonna get to the point where you gotta be real with yourself and start looking at other opportunities. So throughout high school, I was going to camps that taught about sports industry, whether it was like analytics, media, stuff in health and all that kind of stuff. And over time, I was like, this is great because more people need to know this stuff exists. And I didn't know it exists until I started exposing myself to that. So a few years, right, I'm like, you know what? College is the best time to start something. This is when you have the most support, especially being at the HBCU. Everybody shows love. So I was like, you know what? Let me drop this. And I post about it. I post Business Behind the Ball on my page. And, it's getting love. And then my man Raki hit me, and he was like, yo, this is great, bro. Like, let's talk. Like, this could be something really big. And now we're here. We got the Capital chapter, which is Howard, Heritage chapter, which is going to be the AUC region, and then Piedmont, which is A&T adjacent schools, Durham, that kind of area. So it's kind of how it just grew really fast. And Raki, you can go ahead and talk about. He helped me keep an open mind about this because he made me realize like I didn't have to just confine it to an A&T campus or that type of thing.
Yeah, so like Bryson said, he made an Instagram post not too long ago. Actually, I think what did you post in like the early July?
Yeah, it was early July.
With just like his whole mission, what he was trying to do, kind of like what it was. I didn't know anything about it actually, and Bryson's one of like my close friends. I seen it, and like the thing that stuck out to me was the mission and him wanting to do something for unrepresented youth, and that was super big for me. And I was just like, any way that I can get involved, like I want to be involved in this. And I was like, if I could bring this to my school, show people it, whatever the case may be. So then the idea sparked to just make it across campus, and then we brought Carson in, and we just worked so hard on it, and it's something that's very beautiful, and we're gonna get more in depth into what it is. But I just knew that it's something that I definitely wanted to be involved in, and I expressed that interest. And then Bryson, being who he is, he was open to it, open to my ideas and everything that I wanted to bring to the team. And we brought Carson on, and Carson can further explain his role.
It kind of all boiled down to, we might as well get what I think to be, and this might start some in the comments, but the pinnacle of the HBCUs across the eastern region.
Let's dive into that a little bit. Like, why was it important for you all? Because it's like it's 3 different campuses, right? It's 3 different regions, 3 different areas. Why did you feel like it was important to kind of cover those 3 specific spaces? Like, although you guys are at those individual schools, like that area just in general is popping. It's a lot going on, right? It's a place to be. So just talk to us a little bit about that.
So, well, for me, it's kind of just natural. Like, Raki, he reached out and he was going to Howard, that kind of thing. So, what we were trying to do is, I thought that it'd just be better if we had 3 campuses, because why not spread the reach and not move too fast, but of course, get it in front of the right eyes. So, just the AUC being in Atlanta by itself, that's a popping area, Metro Atlanta. People come in and out of there, and it's 3 schools in one, right? So, it just made sense. And then Raki can talk a little bit about Howard in that region, but my mom went there as well, so she was all for it, right? She HU, all that kind of good stuff, so she was happy when I told her about it. Yeah, it just ended up working that way. It worked out, and the people there support the vision for sure. We've got a lot of love so far, but yeah, it just ended up working out that way.
One thing I can say is that everything's just been natural. Like it was never forced. It was never like a plan, like we're gonna take over the East Coast region, until it actually was that. It was kind of like a natural thing. It was like, we know people from Morehouse too. Let's bring them. Let's involve them as well. And then that's just how it happened. And speaking to her, it's just like the Black Mecca and just huge on business. So I was thinking that, and then also in my head, I wanted to bring Clark on. Like that was one of the biggest things that I expressed. I was like, I know Clark is big in like sports media and things like that, so I wanted to bring them on. And I think Morehouse was kind of the gateway into that too. And then we bought the whole AUC. And we just wanted to be inclusive with that whole thing. We knew somebody from Morehouse who had a high motor in Carson, and it all just worked out that way. It was very natural, and that's why one of the reasons why I really do love working with these guys and what we're doing.
I think that's just a testament of what y'all are trying to do and just who you are as individuals, because I think just keeping everything authentic and organic is the best way. Like because what's from the heart is always going to touch the heart. And like you were saying, Bryson, as you was kind of breaking down the story, and Raki kind of saw it, it was like, it was natural. Like, this is something that I want to get behind. Like, people are going to just naturally want to support the work that you guys are doing because they know it's genuine. You guys have a story. You're connected to the sport. I really want to give y'all flowers because y'all are ahead of the game. Like, going into your sophomore year, Raki, you're only about to be a freshman. Some people aren't even thinking about establishing or creating something like that. So I'm curious to know, like, why now? Like, why start now? Why did you guys feel like it was important to get that off the ground now?
I'll just start off again because I know for me, I've been told, like, even when it comes to whatever you want to do, college is a time where you're going to find people to support you. I mean, and again, like I was saying, I was sitting on the idea, that kind of thing. And then I'm like, you know what? It's you just have to start. There's no better time to start than now, right? And again, like Raki was saying, everything was so natural. I ended up dropping it just because I wanted to see the reaction I got, and it was crazy. Like I was getting all types of love messages. Raki was posting it, telling me, "Yo, what do I say to this person? Like they're interested. What do I say?" And to be honest, when it was happening, we weren't so. I won't say we weren't unprepared, but we were kind of shocked, and we didn't really know, like, oh wow, like, okay, this is really, like, let's pick it up. Like, people really love this. So that's kind of what it was. And it's just, getting started, like, the time is now. Don't wait if you have an idea because somebody else might take it, that kind of thing. So just, that's just my advice too. Like, if you have an idea, don't be scared. Share it with the world, all that type of stuff.
Like I said, like, I wanted to be involved in anyway. I mean, at first, I wasn't expecting to be the president of my own region for this whole thing. I wasn't expecting all the love that we were getting. Like, originally, it was more so like, if I could be a member, just doing anything that I could do, Because my original idea, I was like, Bryson, I can bring this to people at Howard, show it to them, and then, like, it sparked you could be the lead of what you do over there. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, and now it's just like, it's picking up fast. Like, we're doing this, talking to people, a lot of members, a lot of interest forums coming through. Like, it's been fast paced. A lot of people really seeing how genuine we are and want to definitely be involved in what we're doing, and it's lovely. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having fun doing it. And like you said, the time period, like, I'm only a rising freshman. Like, it's crazy. Like, it is really crazy. But I mean, I think it's perfect timing though, because it's like they have 3 years to build this, and I have 4 years to build this, like a beautiful foundation, so we can take this outside of college. Like, that's what we always talk about, is we don't want it to just be like a campus org that dies like when we graduate. We want it to really spread beyond that and past when we graduate to when we're in our careers doing what we're doing. We want this nonprofit to be big and to span over not even just the East Coast region, but also to the whole country, and just help many people see a different outlet within sports.
Because it's not now, then when is it? I mean, I feel like we have a great idea and we had it on paper, so I feel like we built that into fruition. And with our hard work and the minds we have put together, I feel like this was the perfect time. I feel like we needed to do something that will actually inspire the youth, help the youth, and just keep building on itself as it goes. We're seeing this as a bigger project than what it is now. So when that comes into play and you guys see how much we're going to build this, it's going to be something else. And now is the perfect time. We have all the ultimate resources. We both go to 3 amazing schools, especially HBCU communities. They need people that will actually do the work. And I feel like that's why we're here. And I feel like we're ready to do it now.
Love that. Love. I think collaboration is so important. So it's a beautiful thing to see like y'all coming together as friends, because oftentimes I think people take friendship for granted, right? Like it's more so like what can we build together? I feel like for me, especially like as I've started to mature and get a lot older, you got to be a lot more intentional with the people you're surrounding yourself with. Like, if we're not all working towards one common goal, what we doing? So like to see y'all come together and y'all got a vision and y'all are really walking in that and acting on that, it's commendable and it's very honorable. So kind of I want y'all to like give the background story about like how you all met each other. You know what I'm saying? Did y'all play ball together? Like how did that, like talk to us about that story too? Because I think it's powerful. It gives background.
Yeah, so it's me and Carson. I know Carson since I moved around a little bit.
Campers.
Yeah. Like I remember me and Carson, we was playing like 2K12 on the Wii together. Like, we was always close, but I was moving around a little bit. So I moved to Texas. I came back to the Chester County area like 7th grade, and we just stayed connected just naturally. Is how we were boys and all that type of stuff. And then me and Raki just met just being cool like through mutuals and all that type of stuff. Been hanging out with him for a little bit. I'd say like about a year now, and we just be kicking it. Like we just homies outside of this, but of course when it's time to work, like we'll even be with the other bros, and they're like, "What are y'all doing?" Business. Like we really sit and talk business when we're pretty much every time we're together. It's something to talk about. But I mean, yeah, I feel like I covered it. I mean, when it comes to the sports aspect, like I hooped. Me and Carson probably played against each other, not for our schools, but just casually backyard, that type of stuff. And, it just, sports bring people together. Hoops was definitely the one that brought all of us together. We all hooped. So, that was just something that we could all connect on and just find good connection.
How was you all's, experience playing ball coming up? Like, I know for high school might have been a little bit different. Y'all kind of played in that COVID era, I can only imagine. But
I
like,
can answer this one. For me, I was hooping all my life. I picked up football a little bit later, but I grew for a bigger passion for football because I was better. I wasn't as tall, so hooping was really out the cards in high school. But really, playing ball, it was great, and I feel like I identify with football or with basketball, whichever sport I was playing at the time. And I kind of lost that identity when I got to college. Well, not really college. I'll tell you the story. So I was playing football in high school. I was pretty good, and I got all state sophomore year. I had major schools looking at me, not major, but like Temple, Holy Cross. High schools looking at me, and then come junior year, I tore my ACL the first game of the year. After that happened, I fell into a really dark spot in my life, and I feel like it's made me who I am today. But it also made me lose my love for playing sports because of all the mental side of things. So I feel like I lost the love, but I still kept the passion. And with that, you can't ever stop loving something that you love so much. So the passion was always there, and I feel like now we're turning that passion for sports into something else. And that's my story because I know basketball, football, that has been me. But now I have to self-identify with who I really am, not just with the sports side of things. So, yeah.
I love that. And Carson, we got a lot more in common than you might know, bro, honestly. And what you just said was kind of just healing for me, bro, because I still have some resentment from like how things played out for me in sports. And I think that's also why it was important for me to like set this combo up for y'all, because it's going to be healing for me as well, bro. But, you go through that identity crisis at times. And I grew up playing football. Kai know, like, all Central League, getting looks as well, but it didn't work out for me. And it's like sometimes when you give your all to something and it doesn't give you that back in return, what you put into it, it could do that for you. And it's like when I got to A&T, I tried out, things didn't go my way. But it's like, okay, now I had to really sit like, who is Mekhi outside of this, right? And it's like you go through that identity crisis of really trying to find out who you are, recreating yourself again, and knowing like, yo, my identity is not rooted in the number that I wear. My identity is not in the team that I play for. So it's like, it's important for people to understand that, like, yo, who are you outside of sports? And I think this is why what you guys are doing is just so important. It's like, it's showing people another side of it. And Bryson, you mentioned you're exposed to certain things. It's like, yo, no, more people need to learn and hear about this.
So my story, I actually started off playing football when I was younger. I was a heavy football player, probably one of the best of my teams, players on my team in Little League. I actually didn't play basketball, to be honest, when I was like younger. I didn't really like it. I went out there to play football, really just cope with everything that was going on around me. Like I had a lot of little family issues, stuff like that was going on when I was younger. And like I played linebacker, I would just go out there and hit everything moving. And I ended up getting a concussion in like middle school. And my mom was like, this is around the time the Will Smith movie Concussion came out. And she was like, you're done, like no more football. So that hurt me off the rip. But then I really fell in love with basketball because then that was like another like coping mechanism, like go out there. Like that was just always me. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna put my full foot forward, play AAU, did the whole nine. Like I was just a basketball player. I ended up getting a couple of high school interests, like out of middle school to play. I ended up going to Carroll to play for, which is one of the top teams in Philly, being in the PCL and stuff like that. So I was trying to take it there, and like my freshman year it was great. Like only freshman swinging on varsity, like 1 or 2. It was like I loved it. I loved the experience. Like the open gyms in front of U Miami's, like all different teams, just playing with some of the top players in Philly. Like it was amazing. Like I loved it. Basketball is kind of like my safe haven away from everything else. Like I just hop on the court, have fun. My sophomore year rolls around, still swinging. I was kind of unsure because it was like people always say comparison to thief of joy, but I was kind of comparing myself to other people that were like that were in my class, seeing them go out there, shine, get like interest in D1 schools and stuff like that. And it was kind of starting to mess with my mental, but it wasn't nothing crazy, cause like I still felt like I was in a good spot. And then come that summer, like I think I had a wake up call. It was like maybe might not be for me and stuff. Like going into my junior year, it was kind of rough. Like I had a couple bad games. Like this when I started starting on varsity and stuff like that. I'm at this thing called Philly Live. Like I just had a couple bad games back to back to back, playing against like it was filled, like because coaches could come see you and stuff like that. So I was overthinking it. Like you talk about the mental side. Like this is the first time I was really in front of the coaches, like everybody, people that give you write ups and stuff like that. And like my head was crazy. And then I realized that I had like really bad anxiety. Like my anxiety was horrible. Like I started to feel like crazy. Like they talk about butterflies, but I had like very intense butterflies. Like my heart used to race before games and stuff like that. So like I kind of just took a break. And I ended up transferring from playing at that like super high level into like. And I thought at that point I was like I kind of just want to quit basketball because like I didn't know what was going on. Like my mental was bad at that point. And then I transferred to like my neighborhood school, which was Springfield at the time. And like I didn't play basketball, but then the coach asked me to, and then I played there my junior year. Actually, it went pretty well. I mean, we made it all the way to like the states, but I ended up getting hurt. Same story as Carson. Like that was probably my best season. I ended up getting hurt, messed up my ankle, and like I was in a boot. And like during that time, like I just remember going to just focusing, hounding on school, like, and like that was the most locked in I ever been on school ever. And like I started to look ahead at college and things like that. I started to look like which ways I can get involved into sports and stuff. So like it was really more so like school, and then like my junior year, summer going into my senior year was probably like the roughest patch. Like where I was like, yeah, I'm done with sports. Like so I was playing, like I really didn't like it. Like I was doing other things outside of sports that were just starting to like make me not even want to play anymore. It's like, oh, I'm doing this. Like I don't even want to play. I started getting internships and started doing all these other things. And then like I mentioned this in like the caption and stuff on Instagram, but one of the people that was like super dear to me, my cousin had passed away like end of the summer. So like that was very rough, and like I feel like my coaches weren't really there for me as much as like the people outside of like like they didn't really understand. Like they kind of like forced me to go back to practice. Like it was like, oh no, you gotta be here. Like, and my mental was super messed up at this point. So of course, like if your mental not there, you're not gonna be playing well. So I feel like a number almost, because then they kind of just like kind of forgot about me. Like before I had was given like a lot of utility to the games. Like I really just wasn't in it because I was going through that. And like they just really didn't care. So I ended up just quitting. And then it was like after that, like I started turning up like on the business side of things. Like I started getting internships, doing what I was supposed to do. I'm talking to my friends just like that were in college, and they're just like, yeah, like you're doing the right path. Like you quit basketball, like you go do the internships. Like this gonna set you up for life. So then, like I just fell in love with just like doing business and stuff, internships, and like that was that. Like, but honestly, like, I'll say like the biggest thing that ever like hindered me from sports was just like the mental side of things. Like you talk about the mental side, I know you talk about that a lot, but I mean the skill was always there, but it was more so, like my anxiety and stuff like that that really hindered me. Like Carson speaks to injuries that hinder him, but like also the mental. But the mental is probably like the biggest thing. Like from my cousin passing to me having anxiety on the court, like I think that's probably one of the biggest things. So I feel as though like people might have that and still want to be involved. So that's why we talk about this business behind the ball thing, because you might not be able to play just because maybe an injury, mental health, whatever the case may be, but you can still be involved. Like we're doing this. I'm in Drexel. Like I was just at Drexel last week, a D1 program, talking to their athletic director. So it's like I'm still involved in what's going on. I'm talking to the players and still getting that feel like I'm in the locker room, just on the business side of things. So
Right.
it's just different now, but I love it. Like I really do, and it makes me feel so fulfilled.
Just like Carson, basketball, football was my thing. It was really basketball. Like I played basketball since I was real young. Picked up football in middle school, and then I stopped playing. Then I started playing again in high school. Just because the whole COVID thing, like I was more focused on the basketball side, and then of course COVID was an obstacle for a lot of people. So I was just trying to grasp COVID and like manage the best I can for myself. But I mean, it was cool. Like I like playing ball, I like playing football, all the type of stuff. For me, basketball always had a certain spot in my heart. Like if I was struggling, it was go put some shots up, like go play some music in my ears and just like ignore the world. So it was bittersweet because for me, senior year, I was playing football and I was injured. Like I knew I was hurt. I was playing on a hurt knee, but it's one of those things you do when you're young, young and dumb, and I was just playing on it because I just didn't care. Like I'm like, it's senior year, I might not ever get to play organized sports again. So I'm going through football games. I'm taking Advils before the games at halftime. Like, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm good. And it was known that I was hurt, but it's just I'm gonna keep playing. And I knew it was gonna happen, but sooner than later, I was like, I wouldn't be able to play no more. And I got hit in the knee, and I was done. So it was bittersweet for me because although I love to play football and I like playing with my boys, I still talk to my football guys all the time. But I couldn't play basketball, and that's what I really wanted to play. So not being able to play basketball my senior year and having to watch on the sidelines. I was going around school on crutches. Like it made me feel some type of way. And again, like I keep using the word bittersweet because it really sucked. And those couple of months of recovery was really hard for me because not only could I not play ball and like I was recovering from surgery, but it's just watching from the sidelines and like senior year, it was just difficult. So one thing to kind of like segue into B3 is one thing that I want to make sure is clear through B3 is that we understand that a lot of people, especially the freshmen coming into college for the first time in their life in a long time, maybe 10 plus years, are going to be in college and be missing that part of their identity, which is being an athlete. So for me, I was kind of lucky because, I won't say lucky, it's not really a good word, but it was good that before I got to college, I knew what that life was like because, again, the second half of my senior year, I couldn't do anything. Like, I was just stuck. It was my leg. I got hurt in the leg, so I couldn't work out, none of that type of stuff. And I got used to living a life, like, what was I going to do to fill my day? And a lot of people will go through the freshman year of college and not know what to do because they have so much free time. And that was one of the things that we wanted to pinpoint because with business behind the ball, it is about educating people, right? So it'll be informing them that these careers exist. And like, for example, Carson can tie his major to sports psychology, and there's plenty of jobs behind that, plenty of opportunities. But it's here to help these students, especially the freshmen in this case, to connect their interests outside of sports to sports, if that makes sense. Because the sports business is just like business in general. Business is it's such a vast space, and there's so many opportunities within it that anything that you like to do, whether it could even be fashion, it could be there's so many. It's a long, long list of things, and sports you can find a connection. So that's another thing that we want to do at B3 is make sure that we give people an idea of what a career pathway could be like. Because for people like me, where the injuries took basketball away from me, or and of course the mental side of all that kind of stuff. Even though there's a disconnect now, because of course you're not playing it, it doesn't feel the same. You might not play organized sports. You can still have that passion for it, and you can use that passion and turn it into a new path for yourself, just because you still have that same drive and love and connection for the sports.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna say one of the biggest reasons that I got involved in B3 was because of what Bryson was talking about. Like, I would see a lot of people go through a period in their life of kind of like, I'm not gonna say denial, but like kind of like a denial of like kind of like that point where it's like, okay, what do I do next? And people might go to like a prep school, like a JUCO, try to bounce around, try to find what they want to do, and you kind of set yourself back in life doing that because it's like, all right, if this doesn't go as planned, then like what's next? So now you're like 20, 21, 22, still trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know what's going. Like, you might go back home, find a job, but you just set yourself back and push yourself back from like your peers that went through college or went through some other thing. And that was probably one of my biggest things that was in my head because I was seeing that a lot. Like, that was a trend, especially within the inner city, because I feel like a lot of parents, they either don't have the education to tell their kids to stop playing, or it's like they really want to live their dreams through their kids. And it's like, all right, go to this school and do this and see that and da 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 da. They kind of get like the kids get like the false representation to, oh, you can do this, you can go to the NBA, you can go to the NFL, but like let's like be honest, is very one of the things. Like, I don't want anybody to feel like they're left behind or they're behind just because they went through this whole process of trying to make it in their sport. And I know a lot of people always say like plan A or nothing. Like, and I know a lot of athletes use that mindset, but it's always like we should have a plan B in everything. Like, we have a plan B in business. If I have a business, I'm going to have investment accounts and things of that nature. So I don't never so I'm always fine. And I think that one of the false notions with athletes is like it's only plan A. I can't have a plan B, or I'm not gonna put my all into it. That is, just because you have a plan B doesn't mean you're not putting your all into it. And that's one thing that I really want to like hone in or focus in on with people is like you can take other routes within sports. You don't always have to just be bouncing around from school to school trying to find your way. Just like Bryson was saying, it's like some people don't know how to not be an athlete, so they try to force being an athlete on themselves. You know what I'm saying?
So that's a good way to put it. I like the way you put that because a lot of people grow up and all they know is sports, sports, sports. And for me, I wouldn't say that was the case, but I just wanted to play sports. Like, I always, when I was younger, it's like, Mom, why are you sending me these camps? Mom, why you make me do this? And I really appreciate her because she was exposing me to these things, but a lot of people don't really have that. And when they don't have that, all they know is sports. And it's just difficult because when you grow up and all you know is one thing, then you hit a grown age where it's like, oh, like the world is way bigger than I thought. There's so many other things outside of what I know, and you don't really know how to access it. So that's, again, business behind the ball is part of what we're trying to do. But I don't know if Carson, you want to get some input on that as well. But.
Yeah, I did want to add on to that. Kind of like how Raki and you were saying earlier, it's kind of like a coping mechanism. And when you go so long in your life, and like Rakai was saying and Bryson was saying, like it's a coping mechanism. And when you go so long with the same coping mechanism, it turns into a habit. And within that, we're kind of afraid to let go of the sports because they don't understand there's other ways to cope with things than to just play that sport for your whole life. Because like they were saying as well, when you reach the age probably 22, 23, and you're still trying to chase a dream that may not be there, sometimes you got to reevaluate your options. And there's so many resources out here in that same field that they love and that they're passionate about, that where they can really get involved and make a difference to people that they actually would want to impact. Because being an athlete is so multi-faced, but also at the same time, it depends what you do off the court that really matters. It depends how you impact people. It depends on how you treat people. Because being an athlete, that's cool, but what really makes an athlete? What makes an athlete is the athlete's chef, the agent, all these moving parts behind a single label as an athlete. And I feel like, to me, the athletes are just coping with their life through sports. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you should be able to have more outlets to where you can impact people in a real meaningful way, in an authentic way that is really just a holistic for humans. So
Nah, that's real, man. Y'all touched on a lot, bro.
For sure.
Y'all went crazy with that one. And I think you really hit the nail on the head for real, for real. Like, because for me, like a personal experience that I actually had, like one of my best friends, he was my freshman year roommate. And you know, we both played football and we both tried out for the team. Things didn't go the way that we wanted to for both of us. I stayed at A&T. He continued to go on and try to, like Raki was saying, he continued to try and chase it. Like he went the JUCO route. He ended up that didn't work out for him either. So it's like sometimes I feel like in this journey, God shows us and he takes things away from us, but we not obedient to it. Like he's showing us like, yo, I have something else in store for you. But you may be so caught up in your head, and also that's all that you know. So you continue to try and pursue it to think that that's what he has in store for you, but all you're doing is delaying your process even longer. Y'all helping me a little bit, just kind of unpacking that. So, bro, that was deep for real, and it really does. Like, a lot of people do go through that, bro, and it's a lot of people really struggling and dealing with that like identity crisis that comes from like, all right, I don't have sports anymore. Who am I? Like, I don't even know who I am. And then it's some things to it. Like the parents are even like pouring into that too. Like the parents aren't doing things outside of that. Like, hey, no, you need to go pursue this internship. Let's go to join this STEM program for you to learn some other skills. Like let's go get involved with business behind the ball so you can learn about sports and how else you can stay involved with it on the other side of it. And you know what we see now is though like a lot of people, for me, because I'm a victim of it, bro. Like I shied away from sports completely. Like football, I wouldn't even watch it like on TV, bro. Like it was that deep. And it's like I think eventually, you know, I understand that, and you guys were probably seeing it if you haven't already, but entrepreneurs and creatives are the new athletes. And I'm curious to know like how has like faith kind of played a part in like you guys' journey? Like, you know, how did that kind of like shape your mindset going into business behind the ball? Like, because football or basketball, that doesn't mean that it's the end all be all for me, right? Like, just so I'd be curious about that. Like, how has faith kind of like played a role in like, yo, knowing like, yo, I still have a lot more life. There's something bigger for me. There's a bigger purpose. I'm here for something else.
yeah, I can go first. I mean, for me, I've always been a devout Christian. You know, I always had faith that everything's gonna be all right, that God has everything in control. So for me, where it started with sports, and I kind of shied away from using my faith in a manner of sports, or when I'm going out on the field, like I'm not praying as much as I feel like I should have. I just had that extra protection over my head. But for me, it really started when I was getting surgery for my ACL. I remember it was probably 3, 4 a.m. My mom comes in my room on a prayer call and just says a prayer over me. And I'm kind of like, that's impactful because I'm half asleep. I'm not really listening or paying attention. And but I can hear the message. I can hear that if this doesn't work out, he's still gonna be good. I hope he finds his purpose after this. And after that day, I don't think I've been the same. I feel like that has changed my life, and I feel like it was a blessing. I feel like if I kept trying to pursue the dream of playing football in college, I wouldn't be where I am at today, and I'm very happy with where I'm at. But it kind of just made me realize that there's always a plan. God always has a plan, and without going through those trials and tribulations, I feel like I wouldn't be as strong as I am now. And it's just always having that faith that I'm covered. I got a goal. I got a destiny that I'm going to fulfill in a positive way and impact people a positive way. And I just always keep that chip on my shoulder that even though some things don't work out, it opens a pathway to many opportunities that can be even more impactful. I feel like I impacted more people through B3 already than I have playing football. So
So I've been Muslim, but as recently, I'll say that I really have been, starting to be a practicing Muslim. Really getting involved in prayer, really going to Friday Juma prayers, which is kind of like I'll kind of compare it to church in a way for Muslims. And I'll speak to one time when I went to Juma prayer, and the imam, which is kind of like a pastor, was giving a cookbook, and he was speaking to like, well, like what are you going to be like? What are you going to do to be the change that you want to see? And that really sat with me, and that was one of the things that had been back on my mind for like a little while now, especially going through the period of Ramadan, which is a 30-day fast or month-long fast for Muslims, in which you're kind of disconnected from everything else, no social medias and things like that. So you just sit with yourself. It's a lot of self-reflection. So that was one of the biggest things that I was going through during Ramadan. I was like, what am I going to do to be the change that I want to see? I kind of beat myself up like, dang, I'm not doing nothing. And then, just God, guided me into, business behind the ball. And now I'm being the change that I want to see through something that I really want to do. So, that really has sat with me, prayer, making du'as every day for guidance and stuff like that. And, it's been amazing, my journey with God being from being confused to now being where I'm at, like, it's beautiful. I always tell people, I mean, I don't care what religion you are, as long as you kind of have like a connection with God, that's all that really matters to me.
That's a good segue, because what I was gonna say is that I always believe that if you have faith in something or believe in someone, a lot of pressure comes off of your shoulders. I think that for me, like, of course, Carson was going back saying he was going through his injury. For me, I won't say that I was at a loss, because I knew, again, I was lucky. I knew that there's other things that I could do outside of being an athlete. But I think that going through the days naturally and letting them pass by, and letting, I'll say let faith take over, right? Just believing that, I'm protected, believing that direction will find me and I'll find the direction that I need to go in. And of course, now I'm here with my guys, working on something that I can do to really help impact not only the youth, but even my peers, right? Like, I even have my peers, my homies, and we all hoop. Like, my college guys, we all hoop, and that's really how we all connected. And even some of them reach out and is like, we love hooping, but what is there outside of that? And some of them are in business and other majors, but it's showing them like there's other opportunities and things outside of being an athlete. And if you see it and open your mind, because I feel like that's also part of faith, having an open mind, being able to take things in, having an open mind will help you understand that there's more to life than, of course, just being the player, right? You are a person. What do you believe in? What are your values? What do you stand on? What do you stand for? All those things kind of boil down just to faith in general, I feel. And I think that, of course, you believe in something. One, you stay more focused, and a lot of pressure comes off of your shoulders just by believing in something and knowing that you're protected and someone's got your back, right? That's how I feel about that.
Absolutely, bro. And I think that's the one thing that really is supposed to keep all human beings grounded, is that faith. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, like Raki was saying, like, as long as you have a relationship with something, that's the most important part. And it's beautiful to see how God is using each of you, like, individually and as a collective. And I think that's going to be the thing that's going to continue to propel y'all forward. Like, as you guys continue to develop B3, bro, get closer with God, and how whatever way that looks like for y'all, so you guys can clearly get those downloads, clearly get those ideas, clearly get that direction, bro, because that's only going to enhance the work that you all are doing. And it's like, y'all are in y'all purpose, bro. Y'all in it. So continue to walk in that. Like, don't let, outside noise interfere. The battles, the enemy is gonna try to come, bro, but just stay the course. Like, as long as y'all keep that faith, bro, as long as y'all understand you and what y'all got going on, bro, y'all are gonna be unstoppable, and y'all gonna impact so many lives with this, man. And I really am glad we got to connect, because this is a powerful conversation, and people really need to know who you guys are and the story and what you guys are building. So with that being said, let's kind of also, like, let's dive into what exactly is business behind the ball, because a lot of people don't know about those opportunities outside of just being an actual athlete, right? So, like, kind of just talk to them about that.
So officially, Business Ball or B3, you'll see both, right? Business Behind the Ball, B3, they're the same thing. It's a student-led nonprofit organization And of course, we have it spread. We have the purpose spread out across the campuses, the regions, all that kind of stuff. And the reason that we say they're regions and not just limited to the campuses, because we know that there's other people around us who need to see this, and we don't want to just limit it to our classmates, people we see on campus. So for me, I'm at North Carolina A&T, which is in Greensboro. For those who do not know, Greensboro, North Carolina, and around me are the Dukes, the UNCs, NC State, all those good schools where you see the sports, right? But there are people that aren't on the field that are doing things to make sure that those programs run the way they do, and those blue collar schools, the ones that win the championships and all that kind of stuff. So with B, we're raising awareness and we're educating people on those opportunities, making sure they know that they exist. Whether you are a college student who has a major and has a focused study already, or you're in high school and you're like me or Carson a couple years ago, where all you know is being an athlete. What else is there to sports, right? So it's raising awareness and educating people, but also having the representation, right? You have to be able to see people in these spaces to know that they exist. So we want to help show people, show people and show their work, right? Making sure that the students, the student athletes in high school, or even the ones on campus, they can see that there are former professionals who did end up making it to the pros and playing the NBA, whatever it might be, or even if they didn't, they're doing things to make an impact within sports. So that's just what B3 is and what we're trying to do, what our mission is. But y'all can also tap in on that too, because I know there's a lot of things that they brought to me, which is why it's good to have three people on the board, right? It's so many different ideas that come through. We all share and we all listen to each other. But again, Raki and Carson helped me keep an open mind and helped me show that there's more to even what I know. And though they can go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
For me, my favorite part is actually the mentorship that we're aiming to do. Basically, we're gonna probably try and partner with high schools to help kids just understand that there's more. There's just more to this side of the world that you know. This is only the surface of the side of the world you know. There's so much more in-depth things that are to offer. But for me personally, I love inspiring the youth, inspiring the kids, because there's a lot of people in these children's lives that aren't the best role models and will not are not willing to do whatever it's necessary to see them succeed. And I feel like in our communities, especially being black men, I feel like we need to do a way better job of being good role models consistently every day. Like practice what you preach. And I feel like that's what we're also aiming to do, and that's what really got me involved. I know Bryson brought it up to me at a cookout I saw him at, and I was just like, "Let me know if you need anything." But he told me more. I saw the mentoring and how we're actually aiming this to help the younger generation. It just means the world to me because I feel like that's what's gonna make us better in the future, our younger generation, and seeing strong black men and women and whoever wants to join. It's just like is needed, and I feel like that's what B3 really is. It's help to help people, expose people to new things, expose people to things that they can do for the rest of their lives. That doesn't involve putting your body at risk, putting your mind at risk, but using your mind to make something bigger than yourself.
In agreement with Carson, the biggest thing for week or two for me would also be the mentorship portion of it as well. And that mentorship, they spoke to the high school aspect of it, but I'll give a small anecdote that really explain like what we mean when we say that we're trying to do this on a higher level as well too. So I have a friend who had just recently transferred to a high Division 1 team, and he got a big lump sum of money from the NIL, everything that's going on now. And like we sat down and had a conversation, and I kind of just asked him, I was like, so like, what do you want to do with it? And he was like, I don't know. Like he didn't know what to do. And, the teams are supposed to have people that are supposed to tell them what to do with their financials and be financial advisors and things like that. But he's like, I really don't know what I'm gonna do with this. This is the most money I ever had in my life, and he was like, everybody around me just spending their own chains and watches and cars and everything like that. But I actually want to do something with it, and that's when I brought up the idea of also helping out athletes as well too, making B3 spread to athletes to Bryson, and that was one of the biggest things. It's like we're not going to be their agents or anything like that, but just giving them the financial literacy to say, okay, this is what an investment account is, this is what a Roth IRA is, this is these different things, and not only helping high school people that are not going to play sports, but also helping athletes as well. That's one of the biggest things that I can say too, is like this mentorship spans in so many different ways. And we were talking about middle school kids as well. We were trying to find that sweet spot of like when to expose kids to these various, aspects of business and things of that nature. So not only is it business, but we're also teaching like life skills and, financial literacy. So that's one of the biggest things too, is, because a lot of people in these inner cities come up and they don't know about these things. So that's one of our biggest things too, is, teaching them about this financial literacy, teaching them that, there is life beyond your 20s and your 30s, and that you're going to have to prepare for this retirement, and things like that, and prepare for kids, because one of the biggest things that we're trying to do is help build generational wealth within, these communities that, might not have it. So that's one of also the biggest things as well too. Is not it's not only based behind the ball, it's other things too as well. So we're multifaceted in that way, and that's one thing that I wanted to really spread and do mentorship and things like that.
But in order to do that, we're also aiming to make this more of a family feel, a family vibe, because you can't have these conversations. You need to be able to be in a space to have these conversations. People are going to have to feel comfortable to have this conversation. People are going to have to entrust in us. And that's also the thing we're trying to do. We're trying to build a family. We know it's a business, yes. And we're going to keep it professional always. Behind the professionalism, we're going to get to know each other and get to know each other's strengths, weaknesses, what they need help with, and it's going to be more of a family vibe. So we're open to have these conversations. People feel comfortable enough to do that and trust us to help them out in the ways they see necessary.
Another important piece is that B3, once we get it rolling and of course make a lot more progress. One of the things we want to have B3 as a network, right? A network of people looking to help, looking to leave an impact, and not looking for anything in return. Doing it because they like to do it, because they like to help people. And I like that, we're all on the same page. I don't know if you could tell from our answers, but we all like to help people. We like leaving an impact, and we like sharing our resources because, again, we got to stick together, right? There's no use in being selfish. Share, right? Share your resources. Giving for me is something like I love to give to other people. I love to make sure that they're in the right situation, and I like to share what I know, share my knowledge to help uplift other people. So that network and that family vibe, or that team vibe, is something we like to call it as well, because the sport aspect to it, we want to make sure people still have that feeling when they're involved with B3 and Business Behind the Ball. I feel like it's a team or a family, and all being connected and just sticking together and making sure that we see it through and have everybody on the way up.
Absolutely. I think community is so important, bro. And like what you said, bro, keeping that team feel to it, because that's where the foundation is. The foundation was rooted in sports. It's rooted in having teammates, knowing how to be a leader, knowing how to lead. You all got your foundation more so from sports and what you guys kind of learned throughout that process. And just for us to kind of close out, what advice would you all give to, any youth or anybody kind of coming up, about to embark on that journey to go to college? They may be in their senior, junior year, and they may just think like, yo, my life is over if I can't go play basketball at this school. My life is over if I can't go play football or run track. What advice would you give to them about?
Go back to square one. Square one being, what are your interests? What do you like to do? What makes you happy, right? Because one thing that you never want to do is be stuck doing something that you don't even like. For me, like, of course, I like money, right? Money, everybody, you need money to live. But if there's something you're doing and it gives you money, right, but you don't like doing it, that's not the type of life you want to live. So what I would say in terms of advice is go back to square one, see what you like to do, and go look, research like what things with the skills that I already have or skills that I would like to build and like to obtain. What can I do to use those skills, use my interests, and make a career out of it? Because again, you may think that, and of course the mental aspect of life is very difficult for some people to grasp, but junior, senior year, you still have a lot of life left and a lot of opportunity left. And I don't want anybody to think that it's over for him because, again, that's part of what B3 here for. We're trying to make sure that people understand there's other opportunities, but even if it's not in sports, there's always something for somebody as long as you chase it and you're doing it the right way. And of course, you believe in something. So with that,
I think the major thing is just take a step back and realize that you have time. I speak to, the comparison is thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Run your own race. There's going to be people out here that are way ahead of you. There's going to be people that are way behind you. But, run your own race. Focus on yourself and focus on what you really love to do and what really makes you happy, and bring everything together. Don't just be like one lane. So, like for me, I'm very interested in law, but I'm also very interested in sports. So I'm trying to integrate everything that you want to do into one and find a career that speaks to all of those things, because you don't want to ever feel unfulfilled in life. That's like the worst thing that you can ever do is feel unfulfilled. A lot of people might work a job and they're making a lot of money, but they're not happy. We always speak to the mental side, but really do something that's going to make you feel fulfilled. It's going to have, because if you do what you love to do, you're going to find success in it, because you're going to want to do it more. You're going to want to go harder, and you're going to rise, as as you like to say. So that's probably the biggest thing. I'll just say, just take a step back, understand that you have time to, even there's people who are still in college right now who are undecided on what they want to do, but they'll figure it out. And, 9 times out of 10, I've heard stories, people going to college for one thing and they come out doing something totally different. So just understanding that you have time to, really think about what you want to do. What I will say is, when you figure that out, go full throttle into what you want to do and go as hard as you can.
another thing I wanted to add on too is that, again, Raki kept saying comparisons is a thief of joy, and I really do believe that, because it's hard, right? We're all on social media, like you see people your age doing things, and it's like, what am like, who am I? And it's just hard because that's what you see. You're conditioning your brain to believe that that's where I should be, and it just doesn't work like that. Everybody has a different path. Nobody's life is the same. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique, meaning your path is going to be different and unique. And you just have to believe that one day you're going to get to where you want to be. And I think, again, comparison is part of that. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Be confident in yourself. And build yourself up, and you're going to be good. That's all I can say to that.
Nah, that's love. That's love. Let the people know where they can, stay connected with y'all at.
For sure. So I'll say one thing for sure is, if you watch this podcast through, definitely go check out Business Behind the Ball. The Instagram handle is Business Behind the Ball, all spelled out. So you'll be able to find us on there and stay in touch with us. And then you'll also be able to find our pages on there. But my Instagram handle is Bryson CH3. So you'll be able to find me on there as well. But just tap in with us, check out what we got going on. We're going to make sure we leave a positive impact on our communities and the people around us.
Go to the Business Behind the Ball Instagram, see if that's something that interests you, and, get involved. It's the time of Business Behind the Ball. We're trying to do some major big things. We have a whole schedule listed on Instagram that y'all can see. And we're trying to do very big things. Like we said, we're trying to keep this as a family or team feel. So, whatever you guys can do to just get involved, we're open to, new ideas, we're open to expand into new regions and things like that. So, whatever you guys feel, you guys can bring an idea on, you guys can be members, we're open to anything, just fresh and new, and you guys can be the start of something rich and fulfilling, because we're going up and we're going up fast. So we want as many people, Mekhi, hopping on the train early, so it's definitely going to be one of the people that we definitely stay connected with. But, whatever you guys can do to get involved, just do it, because we're trying to do something great.
Definitely.
Hey, man, y'all heard it here first. Business Behind the Ball, man. Really appreciate y'all for sharing space, man. Like I said earlier, bro, keep the faith, keep God first, and trust your vision, but also be open for things to kind of like to take its course, pivots to happen. Just stay open, but also just trust y'all vision. Y'all got something special, man. Keep going. I'm proud of y'all, and I'm excited to see y'all journey and how I can support. I'm here.
Appreciate you for having us.
I appreciate you letting us be on this and, sharing what we got and all that good stuff. Hopefully we stay connected. Keep doing what you're doing as well. Everybody needs to be exposed to the mental health side of things and the mental health side of life. So
it's just beautiful. It's beautiful.
For real.